Where the heck does the DNA come from? It's a complex code. Where is the source of the DNA? Well, interestingly enough, this simple experiment was done, and what they did is they split a double helix DNA into a single chain, got rid of one chain. They took the single helix of DNA and put it in a beaker where there were the subunits of the DNA, the A, T, C, and G molecules. And they incubated a single strand of DNA in the solution of the building blocks. And when they pulled out that single strand of DNA from the beaker, guess what? Now it was a double strand of DNA. In other words, the single strand acted as a pattern or a template to create the complementary second strand. So when you split a DNA strand and then copy the one strand, you create a new second strand. So DNA copies itself. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, resolution. The answer is simple. DNA controls itself, and then DNA codes for the protein, which gives the individual organism its characteristics, so that the search for origin of life ended with the DNA, because it says the DNA can copy itself. We need not look any further for other molecules to be involved. DNA copies itself, and DNA is a template for the proteins. With these additional studies on the nature of DNA duplicating itself, by 1958, Francis Crick, the co-discoverer of the DNA double helix, came forth with a hypothesis. The scientific name for this hypothesis is called the central dogma. The central dogma is the equivalent of the Ten Commandments in biology. It is a foundational belief of which modern science is predicated. This is a hypothesis of how information flows in biological system. You probably learned it in school already. Information starts with the genes, which are DNA molecules. So the genes are converted, the DNA is converted into a temporary copy called RNA. So a gene version in RNA is like a Xerox copy of the gene. The RNA molecule is used inside the cell as a physical template to code for the proteins, which are the building block of the body. So the flow of information is from DNA to RNA and to protein. And this is a one-way flow according to the central dogma. And you go, okay, what the heck does that mean? Well, here's a very important conclusion. You, as an individual, represent protein. We are the protein. We came from the DNA blueprint. And according to the central dogma, information cannot go backwards. Protein cannot inform RNA, and RNA cannot inform DNA in that central dogma story. Well, the problem is this. If we as proteins can't alter our DNA, then that means we have no control over the characteristics of our lives that are programmed by the genes. Well, that means then we essentially become victims of our heredity, if you think about it, because we did not select the genes as far as we know. We can't change the genes if we don't like our trait. That's the central dogma. You can't change your genes. And all of a sudden you realize then your fate is not in your hands, but is actually controlled by the genes you receive from your parents. And this new idea of genes controlling life became the foundational belief in the definition for what is medical science. Well, this understanding of genes controlling life is a belief called genetic determinism. The population in general has been programmed with this belief. Genetic determinism means simply your genes determine the character of your life. And we have bought into that. But this is not really true. And science, and real science people who are doing research, know that genetic determinism is not a true understanding of life at all. Unfortunately, the public is still programmed with that belief. So the public is still lost in the fact that genes control their lives.
Hat dir dieses Video gefallen? Gib uns ein Zeichen und lasse einen Daumen nach oben da. Bist du interessiert an weiteren solchen kostenlosen Videos? Dann abonniere unbedingt unseren Kanal und drücke die Benachrichtigungsglocke, denn nur so stellst du sicher, dass du kein weiteres Video verpasst. Danke dir und bis zum nächsten Video.